Good evening, everyone. So good to have you all here. It is such a special night tonight for Rotary After Hours. And it's obvious because look at all these awesome people that are here. Thank you everybody who are visiting here for the first time, here to watch the pitch. Maybe you're part of the team also. But it is just really nice to see all your smiling faces. My name is Phil. I'm pastor at Trinity. I am this year's Rotary president. And Steph is next year's, and we got Neil, who will be coming after Steph. So just, if you are visiting for the first time and need to have a face for the people that you'll be hearing from tonight, that's it. So we have a lot to do tonight, and we have 3 pitches. So we are abbreviating, shortening the beginning of our meeting so we can jump straight into the district's best event of each year, Shark Tank. Here we go.
The space bar.
Wait, that's the technical.
It worked 5 seconds.
There we go. So please remember, this meeting is being recorded. If you can rise as you are able, please, for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
The flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it's.
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. For those making any announcements, which there really won't be any this evening, you please make sure you come to the front. Those who are joining us virtually, welcome. Thank you for joining us. And Neil, it's all you. And welcome to the first meeting of RAH on stage. And with a microphone.
All right, we got a lot of guests and visitors tonight, so I'm just gonna rattle off names, and as I do, please just raise your hand, and then at the end, we'll just give everyone a round of applause and thank you for coming. So we have Bud Hammis, Joe Hammis, Ben Hine, Dean McHugh, Jody Leon, Sarah Gibo, Lucas Cliff, Trista Tragoloni. I don't know how I did on that. Matt Malone, and then Megan Harnell, Wayne and Sandy Oliver, and then Bob Spencer, Sheila Riley, Jill Weisbrod, and then Keith Lees. Thank you all for joining. This is awesome.
And again, real quick, happy birthday to Steph, James, and tonight, Meg, is she here? No? We'll see her later. RAH anniversary, 12 years, Jeremy, Laura Lee, 12 years, Liz Evans, 9 years, Eileen, 3 years. Congratulations to all of them. And Neil, you might as well just stay close.
This is perfect that we got a big crowd. So we have our main membership recruitment event, and it's coming up on March 26th. We're having Tom Thibodeau come and speak to us down at the hatchery at Riverside Park. It will start at around 5:30, it'll end at 8. And we'll have heavy hors d'oeuvres. We encourage you all to join. It is no cost to visitors, but $10 fee, just regular meeting fee for current Rotary members, RAH members. And it should be a great night. It'll be a night of networking and some inspiration. Tom, I don't know who has all seen Tom in the room. So you guys all know how powerful and moving Tom can be when he speaks. He's definitely one of our best speakers in the area. So we're very blessed to have him come to our club for that night. Perfect.
Shirts.
And shirts too. So if you join, or if you go to multiple March membership events, you'll get a Rotary After Hours t-shirt. Or if you bring a guest, you'll also get a Rotary After Hours t-shirt. So it's a little incentive for you to bring some new faces around to the club. Yeah.
And thanks to Neil and the committee for putting this all together. And a quick thing, they're having a membership meeting following tonight's evening. So please join us for that nice time together. And then, of course, we have TriCon coming up. So April 18th to 20th, please, if you want to join us, please. It looks to be a fun weekend, or Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday. And Saturday. So registration has been open and it looks like a fun venue that we're going to. And now, Shark Tank. Everybody's favorite event, and we have the impressive Sierra Leone. No, you're not gonna talk? She's not gonna talk. Less impressive Sierra Leone. Was that? Brandon. Okay, well, Brandon, come on down. I will sign.
Whose phone is going off?
That is mine, I'll sign it. That's my ring.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction, President Phil. I'm glad you didn't go over my entire resume, because I don't know if we have time for that, but the short one was the good way to go there. Well, welcome everybody. We're so happy to have you here for Shark Tank 2024. And this idea to bring Shark Tank to fruition was the idea of someone in the room who happened to join us from across the country. So thank you to Josh, who was able to. He's somewhat of associated with Rotary After Hours loosely. Oh, that's true. It's great to see so many somewhat familiar faces. Well, for some of us that have been here for a while. So it's great to see some past presidents out there, some district governors in the house. So we are very excited to get started with Shark Tank. So I have notes here that because I'm not off book yet. Oh, all right. Thank you very much. There's holding all together for us. So first off, we want to say thanks to our club, all the members of our club, all of the fundraising, coordinating that went into raising the money for that we're able to distribute through this project. So from the hard work from Ugly Sweater, we were able to raise a great deal of money. And so this is the way that we've decided to distribute those funds. So tonight we'll be choosing, well, through the voting process, we'll be choosing a project to utilize up to $10,000 of funds towards a project. Our club will be putting up $5,000, and then we'll submit that for a district matching grant for a $10,000 project that is going to do some great things in the community. So that's very exciting. So it's a little bit of reverse Shark Tank. So you are all the sharks out here. Are you feeling sharky, and you have your hard questions ready for our pitchers? We do have some shark training in a little bit. But first of all, we're going to highlight some of the projects that have been done by the club. Last year, I think it was last year, Sleep in Heavenly Peace was the winning bid by Steph, our president-elect, where we met down at the old Kmart building, and we're able to build from scratch 40 beds for kids who had previously been sleeping on the floor in the community. So that was an amazing project, and a lot of good went to that. Those who went out and delivered the beds, I'm sure saw some very grateful faces for those beds. Another project was the van for the Good Fight. You can still see that driving all over town with the big Rotary After Hours logo on the side of it. So that was a great project. That was from left shark over there. We also have done RAH's Bus, which helped, Marissa kind of spearheaded that one. And that was a project that kind of came out of a district conference, where Raja from Afghanistan came and spoke to our district and, identified a need for, her female students, in Afghanistan who were walking through very dangerous conditions to get to school every day and home. And so she said, I could really use a bus to make sure these school, girls are getting to school safely, and we were able to provide a bus for her. So that was another amazing project that we've done, and many of those girls are growing up into being women leaders and in healthcare over there, and all kinds of great things. So a huge impact from that project. Also a health clinic in Guatemala. Hickson Forest, the Hickson Trails that Keith was a part of, doing some work on the mountain biking trails up there. The Mexico Clean Water Project, Josh was a part of that one. And classrooms in Uganda. So some fantastic projects, and then tonight we'll be able to add to that list. So, last year, Sleeping Highway Pieces was 2 years ago. Last year was the greenhouse. That was Phil and Bradley. Do you guys want to give us an update on where we're at with that?
Sure, we will actually, March 23rd, we'll begin construction on the greenhouse, more information to come, and that'll be our build day for that.
Awesome. Oh, thanks for, we gotta give a shout out to the tech team here that kind of hold everything together. Eileen and Marissa and Sierra. It's always difficult to pull multiple different tech platforms together and cobble it together in order to actually put together a presentation that works. And especially in a hybrid fashion, so we've got, this is our first time using live sound in the room, and also trying to get sound onto the internet without crossing over. Maybe Bob can appreciate that. All right, so moving right along. So the rules. So this is, you gotta put your training hats on, because the Sharks are gonna have to make sure that the projects that are pitched adhere to the rules. And that should influence your vote on how closely the pitches adhere to the rules of the project. So we will, like I said before, the club will be contributing $5,000. And then that will be submitted to the district for matching grants. It does require Rotarian involvement. So we're doers in Rotary, we're people of action. And so any project that we do, we don't want to just buy something or write a check. We want to make sure that there's Rotarian involvement in the project. We want to be out doing at least some component of the project. There has to be an establishment of committee of at least 3 Rotarians to oversee the expenditure of funds. So it can't be a one person, lone wolf or lone shark going out and doing the project. It has to be a collaborative approach to the project. Delivery of community partnership and ownership evidence. So we can't just come up with a brilliant idea and say, here, organization, we did this for you. They have to be involved in the development of the project. They have to be willing to accept the project and work with us on the engagement piece. And if it requires upkeep, that would be expected of the receiving organization. Promotion of the project and Rotary's contributions. So like I mentioned with the bus, it's kind of a marketing piece as well. So we do good, we helped the Good Fight be able to transport their students around to different events, to field trips, and different activities. And the side benefit for Rotary is that we've got Rotary on the outside of that van. So as they're driving around town, we're getting the name of Rotary out there for the good things that Rotary does. Another great example is the mobile health clinic, and that has an entire rack of Rotary. So when that thing's rolling down the road and going out to help people meet the health needs, it's also a publicity boost for Rotary. So that is also a requirement of the project. Eligible activities are projects with no operating costs included in the grant, so we can't pay a salary for somebody, so like, we can't pay ongoing maintenance, we can't pay the heating bill for an organization, even though that might be what they need and might be very helpful. It's not something that would fit into a grant. So we're usually looking for something tangible that can be transferred. So it can't be a salary, it can't be something intangible. That could probably be clarified further by our grant expert over here. That's another good shout out. We've got Liz in the house, who is on the district grant subcommittee. So if there are any questions about these rules that I'm flubbing, we can always call on our expert over here for further clarification. I already mentioned partnership with the receiving community. There does have to be a minimum $500 match. The maximum is $5,000 per club. However, if it's a collaboration with other clubs, we can get more of a match. So if we get Holman to join us in a project and they contribute $500, we could increase the match from the district. So by including other clubs in the area, or anywhere, really, any club, you can increase the amount that the district is willing to match us. So keep that in mind for partnerships. So some of the key questions that must be answered in the pitch, this is a hint for any of our pitchers, but also to key in the sharks here, for if they aren't addressed, here's some follow-up questions that you can throw out there. The total cost with detail is required as part of the grant submission, the timeline for the grant, risks and open contingencies to the project completion, members involved, and specific Rotarian involvement activities. So the winning project must be completed and operating within the 24-25 Rotary year, which is July to June. So the project has to start and end within that time. Can't be ongoing, can't start early, can't go past the deadline. And this project must support the goals and mission of Rotary International and the Rotary Foundation. So now that's the rules for the grant in order for us to be able to get the matching grant from the district. So the rules for tonight for our pitchers are, each pitch has up to 10 minutes, and we're gonna have a hard stop at 10 minutes because we're fair to all concerned, right, before we test. And so Sierra's gonna be down here with the timer, and she will give you the 1 minute warning. She'll give you the one, and that means wrap it up. Otherwise we will have to stop you at 10 minutes. And then there's 5 minutes to answer questions. So our sharks can grill the presenters on any of those rules and regulations, or to fill out some questions about the project itself. The order of the pitches was determined by drawing numbers before the meeting. So nobody knew what order they were going in. We're not playing favorites. We are, again, fair to all concerned. And so we will have, should we say the order all at once or call them up individually?
You can say it all at once.
All right, so the first up, we will have the Aura pitchers. Second will be Gear Up. And third is the Exchange. So pitchers, prepare yourselves. Oh, whoa. Gotta put a bell on you. All right, so then pitches must be given by Rotarians in our club. We did open up support from community experts, from receiving organization, but the primary presentation has to come from Rotarian in our club. And community partners are welcome to participate in the question and answer session, the 5 minutes following the presentation. The voting will be open for a week after the meeting. So tonight we won't know exactly who the winner is, but we want to make sure that we include everybody in the club. So we will send out an online voting link for everyone to use. And the voting is only open to Rotary After Hours members. The meeting is being recorded, so people who missed the meeting will still be able to watch the recording and then vote according to their to the recording. So the voting will be each of the sharks is given 100 shark bucks to distribute amongst the projects. Oh gosh, I've got a reputation for putting people to sleep. But, so you can either give all 100 of your shark bucks to your favorite project and nothing to the others. You can split if you're completely neutral, you can divvy them up 33 each. You can split it between two, you get the idea here, but you can divvy up your 100 shark bucks to the projects that you think are the best projects out there. And we will be sending out the voting link after the meeting, and voting will be open until 6 p.m. on Tuesday, March 5th. So we'll send out a reminder, I'm sure. Sierra's on top of it. She's handling all the heavy lifting, and I'm just here to read her notes. So without further ado.
Okay, Sharks, I have a pitch for you. A pump track pitch. Fair warning, this pitch has a very high cool factor. If you've ever been up on Upper Hickson to the trails, it's a portal to a different world. Honestly, when I was up there hiking in the trees with the terrain, I felt like I was on planet Endor. I was looking around in the trees for signs of Ewok villages. It's amazing. If you haven't been up there, you have to. Near the entrance to this portal is the pump track. I'm going to show you this little video. You can start that. It shows a little bit of the pump track. And we're going to skip. No, we're going to hit the video. Here we go. So the pump track is an area.
Just aspire to make a living. Aspire to make a difference.
So that shows you a little bit of the pump track area up there. Now this slide here was provided to me by Keith Lease. Keith is a former member of the club, was a past president. Even after he left the club, he hosted an international exchange student for us, Mari. So he loves Rotary After Hours. He's right here tonight, and he's super passionate about Aura Trails. In fact, I think he's up there almost all the time. He was up there last night. He'd be up there tonight if he wasn't here supporting this pitch. So this is going to be the upgrade. We need to upgrade this pump track. You can see where the existing pump track in the pink is quite small. So Aura hosts a WORS race series every year, brings in thousands of people, riders and spectators. We volunteered as a club up there and gave out waters to the riders. It's amazing to see all the athletes up there. So expanding this pump track is necessary. You can see they're even going to build a skills area utilizing the little trees over on the far section on the right here. So this pump track is going to be amazing. And Sharks, we have the opportunity as a club to contribute to it. The project cost I'm going to get into. We have specialized clay from a local quarry. The Aura has connections in the dirt world. So this is a value add here. If we wanted to order this kind of amount of dirt, say we wanted to play a prank on another Rotary club and deliver a bunch of dirt to their meeting, we would pay like 12 grand, over 10 for sure. But $8,000 is going to be allocated to this clay, a bunch of dirt brought up there to rough out the new area for the expanded pump track. And $5,000 will be allocated towards equipment rental for rough placement. And that'll get everything where it needs to be before we fine tune. The pump track is a place where riders go up to warm up before they go out on the trails. Some people love to just go there and freestyle. essentially you have transitions and berms where you're using the momentum of your mountain bike skills to hardly pedal at all and just whip through that course, and it's amazing. But it's gonna be even more amazing when Sharks you can contribute to this project. So we're gonna be good.
We're sorry.
Oh, it's working, right? I think
No.
this clicker works too.
It's not on the screen then.
Yeah, oh. It's not on the screen anymore. Okay, I'm swinging this, you
I would
guys.
say, just keep talking, you're doing great.
So. The funding plan, you got $13,000 total. RAH funding with the district match grant, 5,000 and 5,000 is 10. Now, Erin Lucan, the district foundation chair, was here in January. I talked to her personally and talked about this pump track project. And she said, heck yeah, go for it. We funded a pickleball court in Madison. Outdoor recreation opportunities are hot. So that's straight from the district foundation chair. Marissa Dickinson agreed to write the grant with me, and I've got experience doing it, so we can nail that down. For sure. The timeline will be as soon as possible. This is hot. Keith wants this done, and as soon as the funding releases, we're gonna make a plan. August, September would be the deal, but if we can get it done earlier, we will. We will blow away that deadline of May 2025 for this project, for sure. And the stakeholders in it, you got Aura contributing the final $3,000. My slide was up there, yep. 3,000 contributed, they have skin in the game, they're gonna wanna stay on time, on budget, and get this project done. Next, we have a combined workday, Aura and RAH, working up there together. It's gonna be awesome, that's part of the requirements of these projects. I've already got sign on from the 2 engineers in our group, Brad and Neil. I've got Alyssa, Marissa, Rachel, me, that's a half dozen. Get a dozen people up there having a good time. Aura will contribute volunteers, and we'll get the fine tuning of this pump track done. It'll be an awesome day. So a little bit about Aura. Who is Aura? It's not a person, place, or thing, it's a group. Thanks for that line, Sophia. And it's led by Jed. Jed is, if you look into Jed's background, you'll find a lot of dirt. Seriously, the guy knows dirt. He works with nationally renowned trail building teams. He's worked on projects, trail projects that have budgets that blow this away, but he's also a very down-to-earth guy who's gonna appreciate our contribution as a club. And these are a few board members, just a few, not all of them, but these are influential, passionate leaders, just like you. These are people who could send potential members our way. I'm talking about quality recruits here. Speaking of sending people our way, I want to talk about the Rotary area of focus that this zooms in on, and that's community economic development. So on Friday, Missy Hughes, Secretary of Wisconsin Economic Development Corp, this last Friday, she was on the radio talking about what brings people in. They have a look forward campaign going on right now. And it's research, real-time research, finding out what brings people to a place and makes them stay. Other than safe neighborhoods and affordable housing, biggest thing is outdoor recreation opportunities, and I don't know what happened there. But outdoor recreation opportunities. Yeah, there you go. That's real-time, Sharks. That's now, let's get on this. So Explore Lacrosse I got up there also because they tell Aura it's an asset to this community and we can be a part of building that asset even more. Now I want to touch on the other areas of focus because Aura is out there meeting needs in the community for other areas like the environment. So this slide talks about a huge project right now, the community farm. This is where Keith would be if he wasn't here tonight. I mean, and this touches on environment. They're going in line with the Blufflands plan. And that includes sustainable practices. And Jed, not only is he a dirt guy, but he's a huge history buff. So you see the quote from Louis Pamel, one of Lacrosse's founding fathers up there. That's 100 years ago. That's 1920, that's 100 years ago. This is meant to be, Sharks, come on. This quote, he's talking about the need to get people outside, it's huge. And that plays into maternal and child health. Getting kids outside, everyone knows that it helps mental health, it helps physical health for kids, for adults, everybody. This is huge. Look at these kids, that's the pump track behind them. We're gonna expand that and we're gonna have our Rotary After Hours name on it. The kids are gonna be psyched. So this is the other thing that Aura does, the treehouse. You know, it's an outdoor treehouse. Check this out. Sophie and Bertie went with me. Check it out. These are future Rotarians. Yeah, that's right. There's also an outdoor classroom. You can have music classes, history classes, learn about presidents, have a music class out there. It's amazing. And Sophie and Rachel and Bertie and I went out there and took some stuffed animals to have a class. You gotta listen to this little lesson.
Okay, class, today you're going to learn about sharks. Yes, Bertie. Great question, Bertie. Maybe great project.
That's right, Sophie. What do sharks do? They pick great projects. I'll hit play on this. I'm running out of time, but hit play on this. This is a video showing a sign. Oh, go back. See if we can hit play on that. Yeah, there you go. Okay, this is over 100,000 views on YouTube. This is a guy who went to all 50 states and checked out different trails, and he listened to this.
I claim to be. That is the best trail sign I've ever seen. Awesome, got the font and everything. Don't tell George Lucas, don't tell Disney.
So that is a sign that Keith and I made together. And that's a picture I took. Keith and I put that sign on. We're gonna put a sign for Rotary After Hours up by that pump track, and it's gonna be awesome. Whether it's like a rock or like the thing behind there, we're gonna have a QR code and it's gonna be perfect. Oh, dude, just come on, just one more thing. Since I ran into technical issues,
I know, I already gave you extras.
my technical issues, I did one more thing. This involves the kids. I just wanna tell you guys, this project, a lot of the things we do, feeding the hungry, giving beds to the kids, that's like giving kids vegetables. This project, the pump track, giving kids candy. But I showed you how Aura gives kids vegetables every day. So it's okay for us to give the kids candy. So what do you say, Sharks? Do we give the kids candy? Thank you. Sharks. That's a great project.
5 minutes for questions.
All right, 5 minutes for questions, yo. What do you got? Keith's gonna help me out if you have any crazy questions, but as you can see, this project is on the rocks.
Not a bicyclist, why is it called a pump track?
So the pump track, when you go down a little transition, you kind of make a pumping motion. If you use your legs appropriately, you can really harness that momentum and keep going. And once you do the whole track, that's why it's called pump track, right, Keith?
Yeah, you can do the whole thing without pedaling if you get really good at using your momentum that way, so it's skills.
Any other questions?
Back here. How many people use the pump track per year now versus estimated in the future?
It's crowded up there a lot, and especially during the races, but estimate.
So I don't have the number, it's the third most popular park behind Riverside and Myrick, so it's like the third most visited park in the city park system, so. That's one of the reasons why we need to expand it, was because it's so popular and we've already done work to make it so nice that congestion is an issue, so that's why the expansion needs to happen. It gets a lot of foot traffic.
Will the city give over major permits after construction or before?
It's a combination, so mostly Aura does, like a maintenance of the contract or, Rotary has help, with that as well. And then the city pays for like the mowing.
Yeah, so both the city and Aura will take care of the maintenance of the pump track, and volunteers like Keith that are passionate about this, there's a ton of them. and they'll be out there maintaining it, and that's Auror's part, but also the city too. Right, that's about it. Good luck, everyone. All right, thank you, Aaron, for that lovely presentation. It's always a risk when you bring in technology. It's, has a good impact. Sometimes it's tricky, so. Glad we were able to work through some of that stuff and, keep things moving. Great job. And just to make sure that we have enough time, we'll just keep things moving. And our next pitch is Gear Up. So we've got Jim, Steph, and Angie. Thank you.
Okay, so our pitch is for Gear Up, and we're entitled it Supplies for Success. So I'm Steph, Jenny, and Angie. Okay, so we want you to think about, sit back and rewind time back to when you were a senior in high school. All the adventures were waiting for you. The next path after you graduated was up to you, and there were so many options. Maybe you were hoping to start a family, go on to a four-year university. Perhaps a two-year program was more appealing to you. The thought of making money was forefront in your mind and you had a job lined up. Or were you someone who was ready to live on your own? Maybe you were happy living with your parents, or your friends were lined up and you were searching for that just right apartment. Whichever choice you made, you hoped it was the right one at that time in your life. As you were reflecting on your past, maybe your goals and dreams were fulfilled and you are living your best life right now. But perhaps your plans changed. We all know life is not always predictable. It does not always go just as we had planned. But one thing we all hold dear is the feeling to belong, to feel like we fit in, to feel happy, to feel a sense of community, and to feel joy. Research shows that affordability is a significant factor in whether or not and where students choose to further their education. As the cost of continuing education continues to rise, so do all of the necessities needed to start a four-year or two-year degree. Our proposal is to partner with a nonprofit organization, Gears Up mission, to fulfill the sense of belonging for low-income and first-generation graduating students who are pursuing further education. We would use the $10,000 to aid in providing the needed supplies and technology for the incoming students. We would potentially be helping at least 10 students in the La Crosse area. Okay, so what is Gear Up? It is a local organization that started in 2020, and it is growing really rapidly. So their mission is to provide the lower income first generation college students in the La Crosse area high schools with the supplies they need to start their post-secondary journey. Right now they work with all the high schools in the area, and there is a lot of room to grow in the Cooler region. And that's part of why we picked this project, because we have many Rotarian clubs that we can partner and do more with. So again, the Supplies for Success project that we're proposing would help at least 10 students. They usually get between $800 to $1,500 per applicant. That depends on technology. If they need a computer or any other supplies. They're also given dorm room essentials such as, bedding, laundry detergent, cleaners, just anything to help make their experience easier. And then again, they'll go shopping for school supplies in July so that they have everything ready for when they start school come September.
I think everybody here is well aware of the rising costs of things, especially over the last several years. But did you know that over the last 3 decades, the cost of college has increased almost 3 times the rate of inflation? Add to that, the way financial aid is set up, the disbursement typically doesn't get to the student until after courses have actually started. This creates a huge barrier with students being able to have all of the textbooks and supplies that they need on the first day of school, especially lower income students. In fact, 68.6% of students report having a delay in purchasing textbooks due to cost. Not being able to purchase all of their supplies in the first couple days or even potentially the first weeks of college can have a huge impact on their ability to be successful in school. Now, looking locally, we know from the La Crosse School District that just over 51% of students at Logan and just under 50% of students at Central are considered local or economically disadvantaged. That signals a great need for a program like Gear Up in our area. Since Gear Up started in 2020, they've supported 21 students. 80% of those students are either still attending school or they've graduated. And as you can see from the chart on the top corner, the number of participants that they've supported has steadily grown each year. For the 2024 school year, they anticipate like 15 to 20 students applying for their supports.
As we said, we would use our $5,000 from Rotary After Hour funds and then the $5,000 from the matching district grant. So potentially $10,000. Each approved applicant would receive around $800 to $1,500 in support of supply costs. We will help between the 8 and 10 local students, and we know that school supply sales start in July, so that's when the purchases would begin to help those students.
Okay, so the timeline is pretty easy to follow. So tonight we present, we will vote and we will hear back. Applicants start rolling in with Gear Up online, and it's as easy as a QR code or applying right online. Then we would apply for the district grant in May. By July, we would participate with the applicants and Gear Up and our members to get school supplies, because we all like deals. And then we're gonna, throughout the year, follow up with the applicants and see how their college experience is. Gear Up does that, but so can Rotary. So that is where our tie-in is, that we're gonna invite them to meetings. We are going to work with the high school with the Interact program to try to get them involved in Rotary sooner. And then by the end of the year, we'll have a final report with our project completion, and hopefully we'll have a lot of new faces that come to our meetings and can expand on the community of what Rotary is by our joining of forces.
We feel that the project is low risk with high rewards. One risk is, well, it's low risk because students are encouraged to apply if they're either low income or first generation. One potential risk is they could get less than 8 to 10 students applying. However, based on past years, that seems very unlikely. Another risk is they could get more than 10 students applying. However, if that happens, Gear Up would be responsible for helping to fund the other applicants. As Stephanie said, back to school sales, the timing is perfect to get things at low cost. There is a risk of prices increasing, especially technology, but we feel like we have a lot of strengths within our group to be able to find deals and maybe get some of those things at a lower cost. And then there are multiple rewards of mentorship, networking, and potentially working with high school internet.
The three of us would be facilitating this project. We would also go on shopping trips and welcome any of you to join us on those shopping trips, because what a great experience that would be to see the joy in those applicants. We will promote our project on all social media platforms. We would contact the local news stations to show them the great work that we are doing. And then also, if you are Rotary, you could use this for your service for volunteer credit.
There's also the opportunities of Rotary members to do networking and to do mentorship with some of the students, and potentially get involved with the Interact program. And then also our Gear Up, or the Gear Up board members and recipients of the funds would be encouraged to attend some of our Rotary meetings, potentially groups.
Okay, so just one really great part of this project is that we had the opportunity to talk to some applicants that are already in college. We spoke with Aubrey, who's a first-year student at Western studying respiratory therapy. She was super energetic, bubbly, and so grateful for this opportunity. She said that she cried in the library when she applied for 20-some scholarships and got 0. And then she found out about this program. She said it was a blessing and that it just lifted the weight off her shoulders, that she could go shopping and pick out things that she actually wanted versus the cheap route that she would have to afford when she had 2 jobs and just supporting herself all through college. So she was awesome. She wants to come to a meeting sometime as well, and we are going to. Okay, so, that was me. Okay, so finally, the Supplies for Success project, we want to lend a helping hand, and we hope that from this presentation you heard here, that you reflect on what it makes to feel to belong in a community, to belong with, others around you. Maybe you know a friend or neighbor that could have benefited from this program, so even just hearing about what we're talking about, you can refer it to someone that might need this. And we just hope that, they will join a skilled program or a 4-year college by Gear Up's help.
Our hope is to fulfill needs for the recipients partnering with Gear Up to serve others. We as humans, we are aware to belong in a meaningful community and become our best selves. This is one of the reasons we all belong to Rotary After Hours.
We hope you can envision the sense of joy and confidence these students will have when they are awarded the funds to purchase the gear needed to feel a sense of belonging and part of the 2-year or 4-year education community. Together, we can help make dreams and success a reality. We hope you are all geared up to invest your Shark Tank bucks in our Supplies and Success project.
Okay, thanks. Any questions? We do have 2 board members here that can answer questions as well. Everyone just loves this. It's awesome. We're all, oh, everything's gonna go great. Okay, cool. Wait, hold on, Bill. All right.
How many years again has it been going on? A couple, 3?
Just since 2020, so we started during COVID. So that was a very slow start. I think we had 1 student, worked up to 3, and it's just exploded now that we've gotten the word out. We work with different organizations in the community to help refer students to us, such as the Good Fight that you mentioned, you help, they refer students to us. We work with all the advisors in the different schools, the Boys and Girls Club, the Y. So we have a lot of community partners that also kind of keep their eyes out, looking for kids who might not have the resources to buy the things they need to go to college, you know, especially in that interim period before financial aid might kick in. They have to buy all this stuff to move in. And that's actually how this started. We had a student, one of our board members there was some coaches, athletic director on our board, and a basketball player got a scholarship, had called a coach, needed a ride to get to school to start college. So the coach came, picked him up, and all he had was a backpack and a duffel bag. It was nobody else in his family had ever gone to college. He didn't know what he needed. He didn't have the resources to buy what he needed. So he had nothing, he had no sheets, no towels, nothing. So the coach ended up taking him to Walmart to purchase what he needed to just like survive in the dorm. And so he related that story to a group of friends, and we're like, that's awful that these kids are going in there. And if they don't feel like they belong right off the bat, you know, that's one of the biggest indicators of whether or not you're going to have success in college and actually graduate, if you feel a sense of belonging. And if you walk in there and all your roommates have like everything, all the patterns matching and all the latest gear from Target, and you walk in with some secondhand towels, you know, how is that going to make you feel, and what kind of confidence is that going to give you starting off your college education? So that's where we found the need, that we wanted to step in and do that and help them feel like they belong as soon as they walk on campus, so they can focus on their studies versus working to get the bare necessities that they need to live. And we also provide mentorship throughout. We check in with them periodically. And I think that's one of the great parts of this project, is that, you know, if kids have ongoing questions, they run into computer difficulties. One of our board members is a math teacher. He tutored with math. A lot of them are looking into careers. It'd be great if they could shadow some of you, like in the careers that they're looking at. That would be a great partnership too. So yeah, we really think this would be a great aspect all the way through for a partnership.
We'd like to thank these lovely humans for picking us. In a nutshell, we're a gap filler. These kids get to college And sometimes our parents don't even have the resources to pay for the hotel room while they're going to their orientation. So we want to take away the stigma. They did that big thing and we want to fill the gap so that they launch. We've had already one kid go from and finish a 2-year program and launch into a 4-year. So that again, and we want to provide that help too. And again, filling gaps.
And a lot of the kids are starting at Western here in town. And, and then go on to Viterbo, or a lot of kids are coming back too. So we have those contacts here in the community, a lot of these kids could come back, especially hooking up with different mentors here and the different businesses that people are representing here in Rotary.
That was actually my question, like whether it was focused on local universities and college.
Well, it's local graduates. But we've seen the majority of our students have gone locally or are looking to come back. We focus on local graduates here in town.
And we try not to turn anybody away. They've been turned away for a lot of their life. And so we'd like to not do that.
And we've had like 100% success rate as far as we're staying in school so far. So we figure that's a great, sense of accomplishment and indicator of success. Keeping our fingers crossed, it stays that way.
All right, well, thanks. Now you guys can.
Team. I don't know about the rest of you, but I love this meeting and it's so inspiring. It always gets me jazzed up about it reinforces my desire to stick with Rotary and keep contributing, because these are all great projects. We know there's a lot of need out there, and it's awesome that we get to be a part of that. So we have one final pitch, and we try to keep things moving along, but it looks like we're gonna go a little bit late tonight. So we appreciate people sticking around and hearing out what we've got coming up next. So our next pitch is the exchange. And so we've got Nathan over here to give that pitch. So welcome to the channel.
All right, good evening, Sharks. So I have a great project for you. We heard a couple great projects already. I'm hoping that you will see the benefit and value of this project as well. So my project is backing the exchange. I don't know how many people have heard of the exchange. Okay, so a good number of folks have heard of the exchange. I actually only learned about the exchange because my path to work took me by there, and that's how I learned about the exchange. But then when I started learning about what they did, I realized how valuable they were to the community, and that is why I'm here supporting their project. So the project that I have in mind is reimagining warehouse space and to increase the capacity to serve. So I want to ask you a question. So what makes a house a home? So, people might have shelter, they might have food, they might have clothing, but maybe they don't have a bed, a comfortable bed. Maybe they don't have a comfortable couch to sit on. They just have hard seats to sit on. Maybe, their house could be empty virtually. They could have shelter, but they're missing all those other things. They have clothing, they have food, and they have shelter, but they don't have anything else. So this is where the exchange comes in. It's enabling people to have not just shelter, but also to make their house. So a little bit of history of the exchange. So the exchange was founded originally in 2016, just by a group of dedicated community volunteers who saw the need, and they just decided to respond and put this organization together. Now, what we'll find out later is that this type of organization, a furniture bank, is pretty rare the nearest one to La Crosse is actually near Minneapolis. So it's a very rare thing, and it serves a big, need in this community. So originally, when this was started, the organization just utilized garage space, and they had rental, property that they stored some of the donated furniture in that was gonna be passed along to their clients. They were able to secure their current location in 2019, and then they purchased the property in 2022. The way that the exchange works is the exchange is not really a standalone organization. So they partner with other organizations, and they have over 30 organizations that they kind of partnered with in the year, just this past year. I guess I should say, well, in 2023, they had over 30. So assuming 2024 will be similar, they'll have over 30 organizations that they partner with in this year as well. And so the way it works, is that each person that comes to the exchange has to be working with another advocate group. And I have a slide that will show you all the different advocate groups that the exchange works with to serve their client. And so how it works is they provide free essential furniture items. So in other words, like beds. We're talking beds, we're talking couches, we're talking chest of drawers, we're talking the basics to essentially make the house a home. And that's where the exchange comes in. People can't just show up, for example. People can't just show up and say, I need a bed, or I need this, or I need that. They have to be working with another organization. And so that gives them some accountability, right? So working with another organization makes the people more accountable to say, we're really trying to better myself. I'm trying to work with these other organizations to move ahead in life. And this is one thing that I need. I need the furniture to fill my home. You know, a lot of these are families that have kids, and maybe the kids don't even have beds to sleep on as well. So it's going to be a lot of not only single people, but a lot of families that use the exchange as services also. So all the furniture that gets passed on is essentially donated furniture. A lot of it is donated. Just people will donate furniture. A lot of the furniture gets picked up as well. They have a team of volunteers that go around and pick up furniture items, or people can just drop off the furniture items as well. So that's how a lot of the furniture gets passed along. And but we also find out that, you know, they also have had the opportunity to partner with big companies like Ashley Furniture have had large amounts of unused mattresses that just get expired because they're in these like tight, enclosed, yeah, they're sealed up and they expire after a certain amount of time, and they can't get sold anymore. And so one thing that happens is that Ashley will reach out to places like the exchange and say, we have all these mattresses, we don't want to throw them in the garbage. We don't want to end up in the landfill, so we would like to donate them. Unfortunately, what's happened in the past is because the exchange is not able to fully utilize all of their space, they've had to turn away those donations of brand new mattresses that they could pass on to other deserving people because they just didn't have the ability to utilize all the space that they have. They have the square footage, but their space is very tall, and they're not able to stack the mattresses in an effective way. They're not able to stack the couches in an effective way to be able to take all that in. And so that's where this project is leading. So here are some of the partner agencies that I was mentioning that the exchange has worked with. So you can see La Crosse County, Inclusa, La Crosse Area Family Collaborative, Salvation Army, Cooley Cab. Those are all of the organizations that if you fund this project, you're essentially funding all of those companies, all those organizations, right? You're not just helping the exchange, you're helping every single one of these partner agencies if you fund this project, because all of these partner agencies work with the exchange. They all work with the exchange to help their clients. So helping the exchange really has this really cascading effect that you're helping all of these other organizations as well. So just a little bit about the volunteers. The volunteers are definitely the lifeblood of the organization. They have a great volunteer crew that, like I said, most of what they do is they go out and they pick up furniture donations. They will also do deliveries as well. Their main thing is to pick up donations, but they also, like I said, do the deliveries. Their team of 60, they donated 2,800 hours in 2023. So this is some of the numbers. Over the past 3 years, over 500 households have received goods. So over 500 people every single year for the past 3 years. And those are just households. Those aren't people. So some of those households have 2, 3 people in there. They could be, could be married couples. They could be single mothers with kids. But you can just see some of those numbers. 520 recipients total in 2023. There were 303 deliveries. 990 donations were dropped off, and 223 donations were picked up by the volunteers. So you can see that there is and there's been quite the growth, right? The last 3 years have been pretty stable, 500 recipients roughly each year. But I think if we can get more capacity, then we can even get those numbers a little higher. So like I mentioned, there's not a lot of organizations that do this type of work. There's a organization in the Twin Cities called Bridging that does this work, but they're really the closest organization that does this type of work. And so supporting the exchange really goes a long way, just because there is a need, such a need, and no other organization really fills that need here. Okay. So here's the need, right? So the need is the donations at the exchange are really seasonal, and so they get a lot of donations coming in spring. And so they can't accommodate all those donations, and then they have to turn donations away. And that's where we need to increase the amount of capacity that they have. So this, you can see, this is the mattresses stacked up, right? We don't want those mattresses stacked up like that. We want them to be able to be put in an organized fashion so that volunteers can easily get to those mattresses, and they can accept more mattresses and more furniture up. You can also see the couches back there stacked in a very awkward way. So $10,000 would enable some racks to go in. This is what we're looking at. These are the type of racks that we would be able to put in. And this is what the project would pay for. The vast majority of the funds would just go to purchasing some racks such as this that would allow the exchange to put in more capacity to store more sofas, more mattresses, that kind of thing. So where does the club come in? Yeah. So if you have any questions, somebody could maybe ask me questions about club involvement. That would be good.
Where would we come in on this? Where would we come in on this?
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that question. That's an excellent question, and I appreciate that. So where the club would come in is we would actually come in and help install the racks, and we could actually help, in the warehouse. There's a lot of stuff in there that we could do, move around, installing the racks, moving those heavy couches. That's going to take some people, heavy couches up into those positions. And then once all that is done, we can actually join one of these crews that go out and do the deliveries, or we could do the pickups as well. So there's an ongoing thing that we could do, but just as far as like tied to the specific project itself, I think we could definitely go into the warehouse and put those racks together and reorganize the warehouse space and help do all that. Any other questions? Yes.
So the $10,000 is to help purchase them and then build them?
Yes, the $10,000 would cover all of the racks that we're looking at. I think the vast majority, there's some other items that we could purchase, like some carts and things that are kind of almost support the racks, but the racks would be about $7,500. But they're pretty expensive because the commercial racks are meant to last a long time, essentially, and they got to be really sturdy, obviously. So yeah, the funds themselves would just go to purchase all the materials. And then that would really be it. There's really no downside. There's no risk. They just place the order. they show up, we go in and we put them together and we reorganize them. Bam, they have more capacity. They don't have to turn away all these mattresses. You know, they're able to actually accept these mattresses when people donate them, and then they can turn around and give them to people in need. Other questions? Sure.
We a family is skippers from the exchange, like so a child that got fed in the dresser, they was sleeping on the floor. And then a single woman who came out of a horrible experience, got her apartment furnished. And she's now living independently in apartments and everything is furnished and she actually feels like a human being that she's not been done before. So, great job.
Thank you. Any other questions? And I want to thank, we've got Ben and Sarah and Sheila from the exchange. So just wanted to mention that they're here. There are only 3 part-time workers at the exchange and everything else is volunteer driven. So it's a heavily volunteer-based organization. I just want to thank them for being here and supporting me. So any other questions? Anything else? Great. Excellent. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So thank you to all of our presenters. I hope you all enjoyed your time this evening. I just wanted to let you know that this is an award-winning event that we have here. From our advocacy service, we won, I think, a Club Innovation Project of the Year or something last year. We think it's a great thing. We hope to keep inviting more and more people. Appreciate all of the organization members showing up tonight and supporting their pitchers. It's not easy to get up in front of a group of your peers and present after doing all the research, putting in all the work, figuring all the things and knowing the tough questions are coming about numbers and involvement and all of the rules and regulations that we have. So thank you to all of our pitchers, and if you could all just help me give them a round. Thank you. So glad that you guys are involved and looking out for those community organizations. So now we will be opening up a voting this evening. You can go to the link that's on the screen there, or you can snap the QR code there. That'll take you out to that link. Again, you get 100 Shark Bucks. It can be divided up out to any of the projects however you see fit. And then at the end of the week, next week, we will tally up the final results and hopefully be announcing at our next meeting who the winner is. So that'll be exciting. You're all welcome back for the big announcement if you'd like to join us at our next club meeting. And with that, also thanks to Sierra for promoting this throughout the year, rallying the troops to go out and do the hard work of finding those pitches and putting them together. Marissa for coordinating and decorating all the lovely shark themed decorations that we have here and bringing food in. And thanks again to our left shark back there who's out of costume right now. Smoke break. She did a great job with arms like this the whole meeting if you're watching. She's a character. So thanks to everybody, and I'll turn it over to Phil.
And thank you, Brandon, for emceeing. Incredible job. Give him a round. Before we finish up, we have a couple other thank yous. Thank you, Eileen, for jumping in this evening to help out. And also, remember to please also fill out or hand in your strategic planning thoughts by email, I think it is, right?
Yeah, everybody should have got it.
Yep, you should have received an email, so please respond, go through it, respond to it. We had an awesome evening to going through all the strategic planning, and thanks to all those that showed up for that as well. And such good luck for trying to choose a project to vote for, or you can vote for all 3. And remember, prioritize. And also thank you to Matt Malin for always hosting us here at the game. So please rise as you are able. Of all things we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? And will it be fun? Remember, we have a membership meeting, and thank you, and have a beautiful evening. Picture of all the presenters? Up front, please. Up on stage.
Ding ding.
I already did.
Oh, I missed it. No, I'm sorry. Wanted to come to this meeting for a while.